So that brings us to what is pissing you off this week.
Well, we talk about all this anxiety going on. This is my therapy, right? Kyle, my therapist. Um, Here's this kind of a unique one, and this may take just a little bit to get there. But one of the things that drives me effing nuts is inconsistency in politics, right? People have always asked me when I
Hypocrisy
was in elected
rampant.
office, what's that?
Hypocrisy is rampant.
Oh God. People always ask me, what's the hardest part about being in elected office? And I think they were, like looking for standing strong in your principles or fighting against the other side or something like that. And for me, it was always maintaining consistency. Because I've always believed, I always tried to look at it like a World War I battlefield. Um, you shoot mustard gas on the other side, there's a chance that shit's going to blow back on you. And we see that happen constantly in politics today, right? I mean, constantly, but people don't even care about it anymore. They don't care about being inconsistent. We see it all the time. But
Yeah.
here's the one that is sort of driving me nuts right now. Oh, Republicans are all crying about and Republicans in Colorado in particular, right?
Yeah.
All crying about the 14 million Democrats who are not going to be able to have their voice heard because they're going to have a bunch of super delegates vote and pick their nominee. Or let's say it a different way. They're going to have a bunch of delegates pick their nominee and not have voters decide. What does that sound like to you, Kyle?
Um, Possibly the caucus system.
Oh my God, the caucus system in the state of Colorado. Abso-effing-lutely. And all these people who are like, we have to have the caucuses. It's the grassroots. It's the this, it's the that. All of a sudden, when the Democrats are using grassroots to pick their presidential candidate, it's not grassroots. It's a bunch of party insiders, right?
Yeah.
And I've been saying to people that have tried to make this, make these arguments in social media, wow, you just made an excellent point to get rid of the caucuses in Colorado, which is where I believe we should be.
And there's a ballot issue coming probably this November in Colorado to do just that you're talking about. And I'm hoping here in a few weeks we're going to have some representatives from that issue on here to talk about it more. But you're absolutely right, and I'd love to see it as well.
Well, the one of the arguments you hear, in Colorado, right, you can access the ballot, the primary ballot, two different ways. You can go through the caucus process, get 30% of the vote, or you can go through the petition process and get the requisite number of signatures in order to get on the ballot, right?
Yep.
That's how you do it. And it's different for different offices. It's only 1,500 for congressional candidates, and that's out of an entire congressional district. It's 1,000 for state house races, but that's out of a smaller state house district. It's 1,000 for state senate, which is out of a larger group of people, so easier to accomplish. And one of the arguments I've heard about getting rid of the caucus is, well, it costs a shit ton of money to petition onto the ballot. And it does. It's about $20 a signature these days. And it gets even harder, for people that come from these much smaller limited districts. That's for sure. And somebody's, complaining to me the other day, well, you only want rich people picking our candidates. I was like, listen, here's all you have to do is here's how we solve this problem in Colorado once and for all. Get rid of the caucus system, but then make it easier to gain access to the ballot through the petition process. Maybe you only have to go get a couple hundred signatures instead of 1,000, or maybe it's only 100 signatures. I don't know. Have some skin in the game in order to get on the ballot. Maybe you have to post a little bit of a bond to get on the ballot. If you can't raise $1,000, $2,000, whatever it is, you probably don't have a purpose to, you don't have any business being in the race in the first place. I mean, you got to be able to fundraise. You got to be able to go out and, be able to make your case to the voters. And that does take dollars. But I've thought, man, lower that number, get rid of the caucus, lower the number of signatures. You get rid of the party insiders picking the people, and you get rid of the rich people that are out there, you know, that are buying candidates because it takes so much money to petition on the ballot. Problem completely solved. I think it does one other thing too. This is just, again, something that drives me nuts. And I think the Democrats have done this way better than Republicans in the state of Colorado, which is another reason we should get rid of the caucus. That is, you can be a third party candidate, a libertarian, American Constitution Party, whatever it is. You can go to your assembly and do nothing more than raise your hand. I mean, literally, all you got to do is raise your hand and you get the nomination to be your party's representative on the ballot. You gain ballot access that way. Now, maybe you can't win the race, but you can certainly impact the outcome of the race by doing that. Democrats figured that out years ago, and they would recruit people to become libertarians, and then have that libertarian pull 5, 6, maybe even 10% of the vote. And if they were able to do that, then that would enable the Democratic candidate in that district to win. And if you don't believe me, go look up the name Susan Quellish Nelson. Democrats recruited this person to run down in kind of the Fountain Fort Carson area, recruited this person to run as a libertarian, you know, and in 3 different election cycles pulled enough of the vote that determined the outcome for the Republican, like, so pulled more vote than the Democrat won by.
Yeah.
And, you know, that would get those kind of people out of the, get those people away from impacting the outcome of races as well, which is something we need in the state of Colorado. Because I think you should have to do more than just raise your hand at an assembly to impact the outcome of a race. I don't think that's right.
Yeah, I agree. I think our state is ripe for reform in this process. And in fact, I kind of agree with everything you said. There's a couple of things there I hadn't thought about before, but that might just be the solution. So, I mean, the third party thing is, I mean, the Republicans were trying to do it nationally with the no labels movement, trying to get a third party candidate in there, and maybe RFK Jr. ends up playing that role. Who knows? But yeah, but as far as here in Colorado, I am very anxious to see us change the system.
Well, I mean, we absolutely need to have that happen. You know, all of these Republicans that talk about purity tests and saying, hey, we need this if we just become more pure, we'll get more people elected. That is the dumbest effing logic I have ever heard in my entire lifetime. And I absolutely love, in this case, the inconsistency of them saying, those Democrats, those 14 million Democrats didn't get to have their voice heard. But we want to continue to prevent 900,000 or 1 million Republicans in Colorado from being able to have their voice heard.
Yeah. Yep.
Ridiculous. Hey, Kyle, what can people do if they want to get more of this outstanding and great content that we continue to provide?
Well, you can follow us, subscribe on YouTube, and you can see our lovely faces every week. And in fact, I'm starting to like the way this smoke is framing my face. So I might just keep this as a permanent background. Or you can subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. So there's 18 or 19 different platforms. Subscribe. Obviously, it's free. And then you have access to this amazing content every week.
Riveting analysis and amazing content.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. And go like us on Facebook, and like our Facebook page. We all have issues. We're really promoting some great content there as well.
Yeah, I think some of the discussions on there are going pretty well. Some are a little still, I'm kind of amazed at some of the stuff that gets posted, but I feel like there's a real effort there to have some insightful, kind conversations about some of these issues. And so please do go follow that. again, just know that it's our mission to consistently bring on people who are smarter than us.
Which
So,
isn't hard to do.
which isn't hard to do, but at least that's part of the bar that we've set here.
Absolutely. I think this is a great episode. Maybe one of our best so far.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So looking forward to next week, and we will see you soon.
All right. Thanks, my friend. Talk to you later.
Take care, Mark. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.